Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range. Now I've got the Fightlite SCR out on the range. I have slung it in a reasonable fashion. I have a Primary Arms 1 power micro prism. I'm at 300 meters as usual. I'm on the figure target. I have already fired this because I wanted to make sure I was actually on the target before we started doing anything. So I'm going to sort of give my not quite first impressions when firing it. What I'm going to start off with is some Fiocchi 55 grain, 20 round USGI mag. Now these come with a 5 round limited PMag, but and I've discovered that the hold open does not work other than with these mags, which is a bit disappointing. I contacted them, had a chat with one of their guys via Instagram. They said contact customer service. I did. As yet, no reply. It's been about 6 days. Anyway, let us put a few rounds down. Let us see what it will do on the target, and yeah, give you basically my initial feelings. I also have some match ammo that I might try afterwards. So let us turn the camera on there. One thing I've noticed is that you can left hand run this. You can reach around. You can get to the mag release by giving a little reach around with your middle finger. It would be better to put an ambidex one on there if you want to run it left-handed. You can run it like that. The only thing you can't do with one hand is cock and hook, but you can't do that on a standard AR-15 anyway. So the other option is, of course, to reject the left-hand reload tyranny and do everything with your right hand like you would a bolt action. So let us do that. We will reject the left-hand reload tyranny. There's 15 rounds. There's more than 10 rounds in here. In it goes. Safety catch is there, like a shotgun. And I'm aiming with the chevron at kind of the top of the camouflage bit. Ooh, alignment. That dropped very low. It was fine a minute ago. There we go. Oh, flinched that one a little. Okay, so I'm just going to move that a click left. Dink. So, as is typical, when the camera is running, I shoot worse, or the rifle shoots worse than it did when I was just testing it. But that is not a massively impressive group, bit of vertical stringing. It is not a free float. They do a free float tactical upper, but the whole point of these things is that you can put any AR-15 upper on it that you want. You just have to use the bolt carrier, the specialist bolt carrier, which I will get into on the table. Now, I wanted one that was sort of featureless, as it were, sort of friendly Labrador puppy thing, although I did get threaded, so this is not California. Ah, I bet that was it. Ha ha ha. The muzzle protector has screwed itself a little. I wonder if that didn't widen the group up a little bit. So, just gonna let that cool off. I'm gonna load up all of this while blathering about my first impressions. Now, the trigger, it is not a match trigger. It is not a patch on a ARES SLT1 trigger. It feels a bit like a reasonably good shotgun trigger. It is not that crisp, it's creepy, but it's not as bad as, say, the trigger on my M16A1, which is absolutely stock USGI. Overall, I mean, it's a pussycat. Not having a muzzle device on it, I can visibly see the fireball, even though it's reasonably bright out here. It's overcast, but it's fairly bright, but I'm definitely seeing the fireball. I'm shooting with two eyes open, and certainly seeing it in my left eye at least. This would be classic. So if something's going to go wrong on Bloke on the Range, it is going to go wrong. So I'm wondering if that wasn't it, but we will put some better ammo down it and see what it groups as. So those first two that drop low must have been the ammo. Wasn't me, didn't see them go down that far. You do need to put more effort into, let me just drop the bolt, squeezing gently and making sure you're putting counter pressure on. I mean, we don't, here on Bloke on the Range, we don't subscribe to having our thumbs hanging in midair. Very, 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 very strange fashion that's come about lately, but take it up, creep, 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 bang. I mean, it's predictable. Click. I mean, if you haven't got fat hands and you don't hold it too high up, you can run it with your hand on the pistol grip like that. But it's not hugely heavy trigger, but it rolls and breaks. So yeah, yeah. So that's the first impression off the bag. I'm now going to group it with this Frontier. What is it? 68 grain. Match it. A minute while I reset the box. Okay, we're back again. That's warm to the touch. I could grab that. Now, what I think is possibly interesting with these is that as a Euro Mini, I can look at it aside from the politics of why this exists. I mean, because it has no naughty features if you don't have the muzzle thread, so it's 50 state legal. Now, earlier versions did not come with a bolt hold open as standard, but this does. Let us see what happens now. I dropped way low. Well, that wasn't humongously impressive, I must say. But as I said before, not a free float. You notice it's not hooked back, despite the magazine being empty. Has that it's unscrewed itself again? Ha 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 ha. Okay. Let's just take this off, because that can't be helping. And I'll just let it cool down a little bit, and we'll have another go. So it's cooled off now, where I can warm my hands on it nicely. Muzzle protector's off. The standard way to deal with that is a bit of Loctite or Teflon tape, plumbing tape. That works. So let us try again, and then afterwards we'll shoot it off the elbows and just get a feeling for just using it as normal. Okay. Oh, and it held open that time. Amazing. So that was comparable. Reach around. So that was comparable, but not quite as bad. I mean, it's all well inside the silhouette, which for a non-free float is good enough for government work. That all went to the same point of impact. Before I reset the box, I'm just going to put a couple of rounds of Fiocchi through, just to check that it is in fact the ammo, because the Fiocchi, when I zeroed it, was, well, as you saw, was in the middle. Just going to just check that, and then I will shoot off my elbows. Okay, there's down a little bit. I'll just move that up. It's 1 minute click, so I'm going to move that up to, and probably be ever slightly high. Right. Let's just let it cool off again. Okay, so off the elbow, shooting it as you would if you didn't have something to rest it on. Let us see. When you're shooting off your elbows, it amplifies every mistake you make, so you really need to make sure your alignment is bang on. Wait. There we go. well, first 5 are actually probably into 20 centimeters. You've really got to concentrate very, very hard on your trigger press when you're shooting off your elbows. Now, just a little high. No, it's fine. Bit right. Nope. And it held open this time again. Right, so actually that was a better group off the elbows. As I said, it's not a free float. I mean, it's a standard delta ring, and that's attached to the barrel. And shooting off a bag, particularly a bag that's a bit too high for me, sometimes you can end up putting pressure on it. So that might have been my fault, but actually that is more than adequate. And I think what I'm going to do is move it 2 mower to the left and 1 down. Because if I take this to a match, it's not going to be short rested most of it. So, right. Other impressions. It is a total pussycat. I mean, the recoil is non-existent. The length of pull is a bit long. I could quite happily be closer up on it like that. I could foresee taking an inch and a half off of this, but put me close to the optic too. I like it. I like it. I mean, the recoil it's very pussycat. It weighs 3 kilos, empty, no mag, with this sight on it. And I think that is very nice. I think they have done a thing. The last round hold open, maybe that will wear in over time. What will I do to this? Probably. I think I'll probably put a modern ambidex charging handle on it that's a bit further out. Maybe an LPVO would be good. And I'll put an ambidex mag release on it. Otherwise, I'm liking this. I'm thinking that this is a good thing. And being a Euro weenie, as I said earlier, I'm away from the politics of this kind of rifle. So I think I can look at it kind of as it is. I will also put a brake on it. There was an old review with James Reeves on TFB TV where he was given one to test, and it had a compensator on it that was too powerful, and it was kicking down with every shot. I mean, this was jumping up a bit, but hardly at all. Actually, I think what I'm just going to do is just put another couple of rounds through it. Doing too many things at once, kneeling, and just see without my elbow supported on anything, and we'll just see what the recoil looks like. Absolute pussycat. It jumps up and right, as you'd expect. Yeah, no, bit of a comp on that, and it's gonna be absolutely mega. The only thing is, I wish there was a match trigger for it, but the trigger is adequate. It is better than the USGI. So, anyway, thank you very much for watching this far. I hope this was at least vaguely interesting. Thank you to all our supporters on Patreon and Utreon, which has now been renamed Player. All the support you give us helps us to interesting gaps like this to you in a different context to a lot of the other ones. And yeah, thanks so much, and see you again sometime. Bye.